up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl JD here, back with another video. So today we are going to be talking about a show that almost everybody has talked about already here on this platform and over on others. So I feel as though I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself when I talk about things that people have already discussed over and over again, because I'm like, okay, what else do you have to offer to the conversation, Jada, other than the same thing? It's like, are you just going to repeat what everybody else said? Now, here and there I might, but it's kind of like a who cares situation. Okay, I still want to talk about it, so here we are. Now let's dive right into it, shall we? So The Idol is a show that came out, at least their first episode date was June 4th of this year. And that was right at the top of summer, like the very beginning. Okay, it came out and people are like, okay, this looks interesting. Based on some trailers and some clips, it looks interesting. But to say that it definitely lost momentum very early on is kind of an understatement. I don't even know if the momentum was really there to begin with. Now, it looks as though The Idol was originally going to be put together by a different creator or director, but Sam Levinson, The Weeknd, and Reza Fahim, hopefully I'm saying that name correctly, they ended up coming together and collaborating on the project instead. So that definitely changed how the show was coming together, because obviously they have a very different direction for the show. I'm very curious to see how it would have been if there was a different director in town in terms of this project, but it definitely seemed kind of interesting how this developed. This was just the first season of the show, okay, and it ended up only being, I think, 5 episodes in total, or 6. I'm not even entirely sure, but I just not too long ago, while I was on vacation with my family, just watched the last episode, and I felt the need to talk about it now since I actually finished the first season. Now, originally they were going to put out a few more episodes, but then they decided that they could just cut it right where it was. Now, the first episode, it definitely opens up into a beautifully shot, don't get me wrong, it's a very beautifully shot show. All around, every single episode. It definitely gives off Euphoria, because if you guys don't know, Sam Levinson is the director of Euphoria as well. But as you guys know, we're probably not going to be seeing a new season of Euphoria for a very long time, okay? Very long. We only have The Idol to talk about right now. But if you guys would like me to do a video about my thoughts when it comes to Euphoria, let me know in the comments. But it definitely is giving Euphoria vibes when it comes to the cinematography. Very beautifully shot, very good lighting, but it opens up to the character of Jocelyn, who is the main character. I think she's technically supposed to be the idol in the situation. She's a pop singer who lost her mom just a couple of months ago. I think it was like earlier that year. And it opens up to her on a photo shoot, and she's taking pictures and doing different faces and crying occasionally, and it's really awkward, I'm not gonna lie. And it never really gets talked about. It's just very interesting that that's the opening sequence. But we see that there's a little bit of a clash with regards to how much that she should be showing, because I think she was like doing a magazine cover or whatnot. And yeah, there seems to be an issue with how much of her body that they kind of agreed on showing. And she's just like, you know, going back and forth with the person about her being able to do whatever she wants. And it was just kind of giving this weird vibe of, okay, what are you into? Are you okay? You know, are you good? So from there, it just made me feel like something was very off about Jocelyn. And it seems as though from then on that Jocelyn has been trying to make a comeback as an artist, because she, you know, kind of disappeared from the spotlight a little bit because of her mom passing away, and then also her canceling her tour, her manager and all these label executives losing money because she didn't do a tour. And now she is pretty much in limbo trying to figure out like what to do next. And she goes to the club, okay, with a friend of hers by the name of Diane, who I think is a dancer for her. That character is played by Jennie Kim, and she is a member of the Korean girl group Blackpink. I honestly feel like her character was so unnecessary. I'm just gonna be honest. She was in a few clips here and there and then disappeared. Like, her character was so pointless to me. I can't even begin to explain it. But there's a lot of things that happen and occur in this show that don't make sense, but we're gonna get into that. Now, at this club that Diane and Jocelyn go to, The Weeknd, whose character is named Tedros, comes in. And The Weeknd, I don't know how to describe his acting capabilities, but it's not really that good. I think in his mind, he is a great actor, but it wasn't that great. I'm just going to be honest. It made me feel weird. And I think that's kind of what he was going for, but it was like a feeling of I'm uncomfortable, but I don't want to see more. It wasn't like an uncomfortable, I want to continue watching. But he's kind of like this sleazy character that kind of comes out of nowhere. It seems as though he's maybe a little obsessed with Jocelyn. Maybe, okay? Well, actually not maybe. We find out that he does have a weird thing for Jocelyn. But either way, you know, he comes in, they start making out in the hallway. Her friend slash assistant, Leah, is trying to find her to give her her bag. And it just kind of ruins the whole makeout session for Jocelyn and Tedros. But what's weird is that I think either in this first episode or the second episode, she invites Tedros over. And I'm just like, okay, what is going on? But now that Tedros comes into the picture, he's trying to change Jocelyn's sound, her look, her vibe, pretty much everything. And obviously her friend slash assistant, Leah, is trying to make it a point to kind of cut off this relationship before it really starts. But Jocelyn, again, is the type of person that just wants to do whatever she wants. Leave her the F alone. She is going to continue to do whatever it is that she wants to do. Now, again, Jocelyn is still very much so unstable and very susceptible to influence, it seems, at the beginning. And when she's doing a music video for one of her songs, which, you know, it's okay. Okay, I can't remember the name of it, but when she's performing it, it sounds alright. You know, it's okay. But you could definitely see that, you know, her character was struggling, okay? She's struggling to make it through the music video, and she's having a little bit of a breakdown because she's asking for her mom, and it's like, girl, your mom passed away months ago. Like, what's happening? And Tedros comes in at just the right time, all right? He, again, like I was saying, you know, he comes in. I honestly feel like what The Weeknd said about the character makes sense. He said that Tedros isn't really meant to be taken seriously, and he shows that time and time again. But at the same time, he does things where it's like, you sure about that? You know what I mean? It's just very strange. But him and Jocelyn quickly end up getting into a serious, heavy sexual relationship. Also, he's trying to give her pointers on her new music. You could definitely tell that when she tries to show the song, or at least share the song with these music executives, because she was trying to take her music into a more sexual route. It's very interesting to see their reaction, because it's like, you know good and well you're taking this too far. It's just really like, come on now. This is too much. Tedros, again, he keeps coming in. And what I find strange is that not only are you inviting a strange man into your house that you've only really been messing around with for a couple of weeks, you invite him to live in your house, and then he brings his so-called family, artist that he supposedly had signed or something like that, or maybe was helping to be signed. I don't know. But either way, it is a really weird relationship. One of the characters in particular that made me super uncomfortable was Isaac. I'm not even gonna lie, Isaac made me really uncomfortable, because the way Tedros treated him was kind of like a slave, like a sex slave, if I'm going to be real. And it just made me really not like the show a little bit more. When it came to Tedros and his control over the household, I think he only had as much control as Jocelyn was willing to give. Because as soon as Jocelyn kind of snapped and realized, like, I don't really care for you like that, I just kind of wanted to use you, it seems, at the end, to get what I needed, because eventually she was going to take all of Tedros's artists away. Yeah, it's very interesting, you know, watching how he was kind of flexing a little bit, because there was a scene where he basically slapped the crap out of Jocelyn's, I think her dietitian or chef or something like that, or both, I don't know. And it was because, obviously, yeah, he was doing a bit too much. He was touching up on Jocelyn, and he's like, what are you doing? So yeah, he basically made Jocelyn fire him. Also, you know, there was the character of Chloe, who we end up finding out is not 18. She is fairly young. She's still a minor, basically. And she's just hanging around this group of people and Tedros. Why? You know, it's very strange. So yeah, there was a lot of questions as to like what is happening. It's something that I really am trying to figure out still to this day. One other character that was a little confusing as to why he was there was Troye Sivan's character, Xander, because he didn't really offer much to the storyline. I think he was supposed to kind of be like her friend, Jocelyn's friend slash, I guess, music video director or something like that, or creative director maybe. But they tie him up and throw him on the couch because Tedros is trying to figure out why Xander keeps lying about things, I guess, because he said that he had stopped performing because he needed to get surgery or something done. And he kind of figures that out because he has a weird conversation with Xander about it, because he heard Xander singing and he was just lurking in Xander's room while he was putting on clothes and coming out the shower. And I'm just like, very much so giving creep. It's also found out that before Jocelyn's mom passed away, she used to hit Jocelyn with like a wooden brush or something to get her back in line or to do whatever it is that she needed to do in terms of her career or perform. And a lot of the people around Jocelyn knew that that was happening, that she was being abused, but they didn't really say anything. And Tedros, he was basically putting a lot of the blame on Xander, because he was like, what do you mean you couldn't have done anything? Like, you could have stepped in and actually helped and stopped what was happening. I just think that was kind of unfair, because it's like, okay, what do you want him to do? Call the police? And then what? Like, what's gonna happen afterwards? He's just as young as Jocelyn. Like, what do you want him to do in this situation? What was really weird, that really set a lot of people off when they talk about this show, was the scene that came after Tedros got this information. He decides to repurpose the pain, I guess, that Jocelyn went through when her mom would hit her with this brush. And he made it into a sexual thing where he asked her to take her clothes off, get on the floor, and she brought him the brush that her mom would use to hit her with. And he just went to town with this brush. And I'm just like, are you really trying to make this a sexual thing right now? Like, really? Really? So it was really disturbing. It was really disturbing. I'm not gonna even lie. A lot of the jokes and things that were said and done on this show, it wasn't even like a, oh, haha, you know, type of way. It was more like a, why would you say that? Why would you do that? It's just making me really uncomfortable. Who made this decision? Who? Please tell me who made this decision to do this. So after this, Xander gets pulled to the side and they tie him up, like I said, and they throw him on this couch and pretty much just start torturing him, okay? I thought this boy was your friend, you know? And what gets me is that no one ever talks about this situation again. Nobody says anything. It's never brought up. And then he acts like him and Tedros are good again. What I think also in terms of Tedros trying to get back at Jocelyn, because what's weird is that Jocelyn has Tedros in her house and just decides to invite her ex-boyfriend over and has sex with him. It's like, wait, what? Like, are we gonna explain this? And before he leaves the house, he has Xander take a picture with some random girl. And then it turns out in a later episode that Tedros was using that picture to basically frame him and say that he had, you know, done something inappropriate to her. So yeah, he tries to frame her ex-boyfriend. So I kind of don't blame him, because it was like, okay, I thought you were trying to see Tedros, like what's going on? It's never talked about. It's a lot of things that are done and it's so random and no one ever talks about it. And another thing that's weird to me is the scene when she was trying to record a song and Tedros is basically putting his hand in her pants. I'm like, what is happening right now? It's just really more so like, can you stop? It's not sexy. It's weird. It's just really freaking weird that you guys are in front of everybody else doing this right now. And they just have to sit there and watch. It's just really freaking weird. Obviously, they try to paint Jocelyn as the villain in the very last 2 episodes because she eventually tosses Tedros to the side, takes his artist, goes on tour, and then, strangely enough, she invites him to her concert. Then she brings him out and says that you're mine. And it's just so freaking weird because I thought she was trying to pay him off so that he would disappear. And then he disappeared because they end up dragging his name through the mud. He lost his club. everything was just going downhill for him. He had no artists anymore. So they tried to make it seem like obviously Jocelyn just used Tedros, but then she brings him back. Why? Again, why? Why is he there? I have so many questions. So I honestly think there needs to be another season just to rehash all of these issues and answer questions. For the life of me, please answer my questions as to why. And also what gets me is that The Weeknd decided to make it a point to go after everybody on Twitter or X to talk about the show and stand up for it in a way. And I'm just like, no, Abel, this is not it. This is not it. And also what kind of was weird to me is during the whole show, you could hear The Weeknd songs playing in the background. And I'm just like, who made this artistic decision? Because now I can't listen to The Weeknd without thinking about this show. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so... I feel like there was potential. Don't get me wrong, there was potential. In the storyline, I feel like obviously, yes, there were some things and some areas that made me really, really despise the show. You know, the uncomfortable parts. That first episode I thought was the best. That was the very best of the show, and then it just went downhill after that. But the story itself had potential, but the way they decided to go about it, it didn't make any sense. There were a lot of things that were left unanswered, and that's fine in some shows, but it was to the point where it didn't make sense because they left it unanswered. It was just kind of plopped in there. So I just think, obviously, these characters, if they choose to actually do another season or get picked up to do another season, maybe they just need to consider more character development and better writing. Honestly, I think it might be able to be resurrected. Maybe. Okay, but there was a lot of characters in here that did not need to be in here, and there were a lot of storylines that didn't go anywhere. It was just kind of like, bloop, here's another person, here's another person. They're gonna be in this scene, but we're never gonna explain why they're there. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, what is happening right now? So I think that The Weeknd was probably just kind of mad, obviously, because of people's reactions, basically saying that the show was terrible. Don't get me wrong, it was terrible, but I think there was potential for something to be born out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it could be good in the future, but this first season was bad. Let's not beat around the bush. This first season was terrible, but I think if they try to do a second season, add on another writer, a different perspective, change things around, okay, I think it could work, okay? Maybe. But yeah, this first season was terrible. It's just a lot of things that just, it was so weird, and not in a good way. Not at all in a good way. I think The Weeknd thought that this show was going to be well received. I think he originally thought that this show was going to be kind of like his breakout into acting, but it just, I don't think it was a good character choice for his first ever role when it came to acting. I think this was a terrible introduction into acting. If he had chose something else that was a little bit more serious and also mysterious, and also kind of gave that mystique that he gives in real life, it would have made more sense, you know what I mean? But here it just gave off sleazy, I don't take you serious, like that type of feeling. So yeah, but y'all let me know what y'all thought about this show down below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.